So it's that time of year again, the time in which Sony and Microsoft can have their extramarital affairs behind closed doors and Nintendo can eat some mushrooms in the corner. Now with the main show over with and Jim's dad off American Pie, or as he's better known as Michael Patcher, telling everyone that the next generation is round the corner like a villain in a panto, I thought it'd be a fun game to statistically predict what will be at E3 in 2023. After Microsoft has lived the Thelma and Louise story with its consumers this generation, many speculated they would be reading an article about how the team just drove off a cliff in a brand new, unseen car courtesy of Forza Motorsport, but there's still hope. The 2023 conference will see Vince Vaughn's dad, Phil Spencer, take to the stage yet again to speak about the biggest year for Microsoft as they showcase what their new console can do, which is said to be a hybrid. A reveal event back in 2021 hyped up what the next generation could be, and now it's time to put some games on that expensive piece of plastic. The event back in 2021 talked a lot about the integration of VR into their products, with Halo used as an example. But this event will showcase the best looking Forza people have ever seen with the release of Forza Motorsport 10 used as a graphical showcase. By this point people will still cheer and clap, but in the back of their mind they'll be saying, "Good God, Phil, not even doggers like cars this much." This won't be the only Turn 10 game Phil will announce, as their open world action adventure game will be released as an Xbox 2 exclusive. Gears of War 6 will be shown off in full detail with a larger emphasis on cloud computing technologies, followed by an announcement from Rare. However, this won't be a sequel to Sea of Thieves, but instead a new platformer. This will then be followed by a new studio joining the Xbox family and showing off their new game, which will resemble a Tomb Raider / Uncharted action-adventure experience. Scalebound will now resurface, and the show will close with a message from a beloved mascot making his triumphant return to the platform. Next up will be everyone's favourite builders, Bethesda, to tell you that their new products just work and the cracks were always meant to be there. Seriously, just trust me. It's been a great year for Bethesda, but how can they top their previous big announcements? With Doom 2 being released in 2019 and Prey 2 hitting shelves in 2020, well, I'm here to tell you. A plethora of new experiences are coming, with a new mainline Fallout entry coming out by the end of the year, and a look at the revamped version of Rage. Actually, this is a little side editor's note, I'm just dropping the accent for a minute. This article was written back in June of 2017, so I think I actually may be a god if I could predict that Rage would be getting a sequel. Anyway, back to the video. This will be the third Rage game released, with Elder Scrolls getting a teaser for their next big entry, which they state is gigantic, and a few minutes of the conference dedicated to their new free-to-play section. This will be the year Bethesda brings the big guns, and not only because it's the mainline entry of the third Wolfenstein game. After Bethesda comes Ubisoft, which sounds a bit like an anti-Viagra tablet, but don't worry, the company will still bring their angelic charm and fucking dance into the stage for yet another year. Just Dance will light up the stage as a new presenter comes along to showcase the wonders of Ubisoft's new library of interactive experiences. The return of classics like Splinter is finally shown off, after a brief teaser at the end of 2017 showing the green goggles lighting up, giving the audience a brief glimpse into the revival of this franchise. The return of Splinter Cell coincides with the recently released Splinter Cell movie, which now sits at a 56 on Rotten Tomatoes. However, this wasn't the only IP making a huge comeback, as we can expect to see a mainline entry in the Call of Juarez series. A new Assassin's Creed will be given the spotlight with a brand new protagonist. Following that, a new Far Cry will be shown to the public, and a new Rayman game will be showcased, since Beyond Good and Evil 2 was released in the latter part of 2020. Next up is a company that puts the word con in conference. EA will have their annual conference in which they tell their consumers, "We've learned our lessons and changed." EA is basically your dog that shits on the rug and says it won't do it again. Talented dog if it can talk. But apart from the plastic belts that they give out to the obligatory esports players and community members standing on stage looking more nervous in a hostage situation, what does the electronic giant actually have to show us? The show will start with a sizzle reel of the latest games to be shown, followed by an announcement of a new FIFA running on the next generation of consoles. This will still be on the variant of the Frostbite engine, because why would they give up that? After that, Madden will be shown, followed later by an NBA game. And after the question of sport has been answered and they go on a monologue that puts you to sleep quicker than a date with Bill Cosby, the real show will begin. We will have a developer diary showcasing the new Mass Effect, although it won't be a sequel to Andromeda, but instead will have a new name. In this section, don't expect to see any gameplay, but do expect to see someone's fat bald head as they layer over a computer for 25 minutes. Titanfall 3 would have been out by now, releasing in 2020, but some new information will be given on the next project from Respawn Entertainment. New content will be shown for Battlefield game, shown off probably in a modern day setting, and finally we will see some new Star Wars game released by Respawn. Sony will take the Russell Crowe approach to their conference like they do every year, asking the audience, "Are you not entertained?" But as the Ricky Gervais Gerbo lookalike known as Sean Layden takes to the stage, it's another kick in the head for Microsoft as Sony goes big, showing the power of the PlayStation 5. The console giant takes to the stage with a plethora of new titles and sequels to existing franchises. The Order 2 is shown to be an open-world action-adventure game heavily inspired by The Witcher. A new COD is shown after Activision signs up with Sony for future deals, and a new game from Naughty Dog is shown. However, it's not The Last of Us or Uncharted, but something far darker, as a new team is now developing all future Uncharted titles. The new Killzone is shown, and Sony really wants to show the power of PlayStation on the go. With the PlayStation Now service, we still don't get backwards compatibility because greedy bastards, now containing most of the PlayStation 4 library, with a little bit of the conference dedicated to indies, and a glimpse of the new Gran Turismo, along with 4 brand new IPs and a special revival from a Sucker Punch Productions. Finally, from the big conferences is the only plumber who doesn't deal with shit, as Nintendo takes you into their treehouse for some intensive fun. The Switch is still around for at least another year, and with it brings some new titles. A new Metroid is teased in the latter part of 2017, and its sequel is due out now, with the final Mario game for this gen releasing and the last Zelda showing us its improved combat. The House of Fun gives the treehouse over to Ubisoft to discuss their partnership and showcase some wacky party games for the platform. Nintendo will end their talks with a hint at their new console, which, a lot like the Wii U, will be a successor to the Switch and very similar. And now at the end of the video we'll discuss some more minor predictions that aren't part of the big conferences. Rockstar will still have Agent kicking around because they won't let that thing die. New images probably will be shown, a little bit of talks, a lot of fan speculation, but we still won't have a conclusive release date, though we will probably see by this point at least GTA 6, maybe set somewhere in Vice City. Activision would have released Singularity 2 by now, but there's still no guarantee on that. And because they love money so much, Dead Island 2 should have been released, and that part is absolutely serious. I mean, if you live in England, you can go into any Tesco store, and when they have a little game cards where you can literally, like buy it, download it when you get back home, you can literally buy now from Tesco's Dead Island 2. Even though the game hasn't been released, doesn't have a release date, and we haven't heard anything from the team in ages. So, I don't know, maybe by then it'll be released. If not, then Tesco's has made a hell of a lot of money on a lot of gullible idiots. But that's my prediction. So we'll see if in the future, if you return to this video, you can play a nice little drinking game. How much of this did I get correct? Obviously, if it's 100% correct, I am not liable for any death of alcoholism. So don't sue us. But until that day comes, I'll see you back in 2023. Bye.